Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. Lainey or Savante or Lainey Savante, whatever you want to call me. I am here with the amazing coach Heather Phillips. She is both my guest and co-host tonight on our newly branded Nourish Your Soul show weekly. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you, Coach Heather Phillips, for coming in, saying hello all the way from Canada.
Woo! It was such a long drive and all the snow I had to get through. Ha ha.
Over the river and through the woods.
Right.
So when people start to come here, just let us know you're here in the comments so we can say hello to you and welcome you to, well, of course, we meet every Monday anyways. We were just meeting under our former brand, Real Time Wisdom Show, and now it's the Nourish Your Soul Show weekly. And this to you, Heather, is not a new brand because I've had now since last November, we've had the Nourish Your Soul show monthly, and it's on the healthylife.net network. And people wrote and said, we'd like more. And it was the perfect segue to rebrand this to do so. So now we have our monthly, which is in 135 countries. I think they said the last show had over 300,000 listeners. It's only radio. Like, it's just so like mind blowing, and you can get the replay. So now everyone who watches our Hey Tamara, everybody who watches our weekly, and then everyone who listens to our monthly are all in one house under Nourish Your Soul, just like it used to be with Zeta Global Radio. So things are growing.
Hi, Tamara. You're beautiful too.
Absolutely. So before we get into tonight's program, I always wanted to talk about sort of a couple things going on that I have felt very nourished. My soul was nourished this weekend with our crystals class. You were there, Heather. Unbelievable.
It was wonderful. It was wonderful. Yes.
Yeah, it was. And that was our first class, and people got to get an extra crystal. So we had 11. Hey, Tony. And so I know sometimes it may not feel the same, but other people like to watch it at their own pace. It is 3 hours long. And if this is one of you, hey, Janelle, which you guys were there, the class is available through this Friday only. So I'm just leaving it up. You'll be able to get the replay, our prayers, our affirmations, everything that went down and went up, which was all of our vibrations. So you will get crystals, 11 of them. I'll mail them to you. You just have to register by Friday, and then I'll get them out to you, and you can watch them at your leisure. Highly recommend. Allison was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
I learned so much. I don't know about you. And I thought I knew a lot about crystals, but there were some things in there that I was like,
the ITE, the crystals that end in ITE, do not put them in water because they could become poisonous. That was the biggest tip I've ever, that was,
that was amazing.
Yeah.
So she had a plethora of wisdom. We combined it with the food. We talked about all the medicines to nourish your soul. And we're going to do it again. So on April 29th, you can all take that one. We'll be focusing on 10 more crystals, maybe 11, but 10 for sure. And they are going to coincide with the new deck, which to me is like, whew, that's like the deep work. So anyways, the registration's up on the foodhealingdeck.com website. We welcome you to come.
Yay.
All right. I don't want to forget, because our advertisers, which you are one of them, Coach Heather Phillips, are also now advertiser, and we bring now these weekly shows. So I want to thank Linda McBee with Happy DNA Candy. Of course, the Food Healing Oracle Deck is one of our, I would say, global sponsors and weekly. And Light Consciousness Expo is one of our sponsors this month, and I'll be there presenting. It's in Sarasota. I don't know if you spent a whole lot of time in Sarasota, but I'll be there presenting on February 11th and 12th at the Light Consciousness Expo.
Excellent.
Yeah. And then a month later is the Illuminate Festivals here in Fort Myers and Punta Gorda, March 11th and 12th. There's a lot. I've got Veg Fest. I'm going to be in like maybe 8 places in the next couple months.
That's great.
Look who's here. Jenny Willing, Denise Flood. Well, we have a big unveil tonight, and I'm not sure when to do it, but the amazing Heather. Well, Heather, you were a recording artist on our former record label, Intuitive Wisdom, and we had 8 meditations. I'm sorry, let's say we had 5 record labels, 5 records, Gulf Coast meditations. We had abundance, we had chakra, we had sleep, we had kids, and we had our awaken. You were on abundance, I believe.
Yes. Abundance of energy.
Was it abundance of energy?
Yes.
Well, Jenny, of course, did the painted all the album covers, and she has
Beautiful work.
graced the Food Healing Oracle deck and its company with our brand new logo. So I am going to reveal that tonight. I'm not sure when. It could be just right now, or we could do it later. I just want to give you, a good chunk of time, and if we get some readings in with the group. But Tamara says no time like the present. Well, I'll reveal it now, but you have to stay for the whole show because Heather has so much good stuff to say. I am so in love with the Meridians and learning about it. It's, and I'll just say, and yes, I will show the logo right now. But prior to that, I don't want to forget this now, but the first time I was really exposed to the beauty of Meridians is when I went and had a root canal. And they start showing me how all the teeth are related to everything in the body and the meridians. And then I started studying this tooth. And when that tooth hurts, what does that meaning where? And I was like, oh, I'm hooked. And then you came into my life some years later. And I was like, the Meridian Magic Queen. So anyways, that's why I'm going to take your class the second time. But we will get into that. So why don't we do this? Why don't we show the logo and then we will get into the program tonight? Because I think you're all going to love it. It is unbelievable. So the logo I'm referring to is the Food Healing Oracle deck. Has new branding. We're doing a lot of kind of new branding. We've rebranded the show, same energy, but now we are also rebranding the visual of what this company represents, what the Food Healing Oracle deck represents, from nature to chakras to food to elements, everything, sacred geometry. I mean, it's just a little bit of everything. And I think she blew it out of the water. Once again, Jenny Willing is amazing. So here, without further ado, you found us, Trish. Yay, good. This is our new show hub. And we also, if you can, please subscribe. We have a new YouTube channel specifically dedicated to Nourish Your Soul because we were so full on the Food Healing Oracle deck. So it has its own and it could use a few subscribers. So go on there. All right, here we go. Here we go. Are you ready, Heather? Are you ready, Jenny? Oh my gosh, she's here.
Drum roll. Can you hear it?
Woo! This is the new Food Healing Oracle deck logo. Ta-da!
Ooh, beautiful.
Isn't that gorgeous?
Stunning.
Yeah, I'd say. So what we really, I love everything about this. It's completely a mind blower to me that Jenny painted this. But we really spent a lot of time, Joanne and I, thinking about and tuning into the foods for the chakras. So, of course, you got beets for grounding. That's truly. The logo we had before had it in the third eye, which I was like, not really. It's really our grounding card. Butternut squash is right there for that sacral energy. And we've got lemons. Like we just really went with the colors as much as possible. Also the food. So the alchemy, right? Your whole gut is where all that, right? Brain, that brain gut axis in the solar plexus. So lemons are alchemy card. And of course we got strawberry for love for the heart chakra. And do you see what that is in the throat chakra? Can you tell what that is?
Looks like celery.
Yeah, no. So it's actually bok choy. And if you look in the second helpings deck, bok choy is our truth card. So it's speaking your truth. And spirit is speaking truth through these cards. And when you are a reader, you are speaking your truth to your clients. So blueberries are clarity, very much an air element, and also opening up that clarity of the intuition in the pineal gland. And of course, pomegranate is our spirit card. So that would definitely make the crown chakra. So congratulations to Jenny for absolutely seeing my vision come to life. I'm so grateful, and I hope you all like it. She is one talented goddess. I'm just so proud of this. Absolutely.
It's beautiful, Jenny. Beautiful.
So you're going to see that branding in a lot of places, and we're just so proud of it. And yeah, so there's that. Oh, I'm so glad Trish loves it. Oh, Janelle knew bok choy. Yeah, we had the bok choy for sure.
I
Oh,
didn't
Tina,
have my glasses on. I thought it was celery.
does it look like celery? Well,
without glasses on, it's green and long.
yeah, here, let's look at it one more time, and then we'll get into the show. Yeah, I can see where it could be. It's definitely bok choy. For me,
Absolutely.
I think that's the most powerful one. It's not the color of the chakra, but when you read our deck, especially second helpings, it's so in your face about speaking your truth, being in your truth. And like for me to see that, the way it wraps around the throat, it's like, yeah, hold in the knowing of who you are, what you represent to the world. So anyways, and they're so beautifully in detail, they make me hungry. Love it. Yeah. All right. Once again, way to go, Jenny. I'm so proud of it. Okay, so here we are. We are talking about meridians. And just for a show of hands, which I know we can't see them, but you can comment, how many of you can honestly say you have no idea what meridians are? I'm just curious. Third time today for me that the throat chakra has come up.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's paying attention time. On with the show. So I would love to know, and maybe you would like to know, Heather, how many people absolutely know, like they've heard of meridians, but they don't know. Or tell us where you are with your understanding of meridians, because you are in great hands. And before we even begin, if someone doesn't know you, why don't you just give them just a quick, brief background of who you are and why this is some of your platform?
Well, meridians are near and dear to my heart because I had no idea that they even existed until I was 21 years old. And I'm assuming that there's a lot of people that are older than me right now that don't know what meridians are. And that's okay because we get taught about um, getting energy and vitality through exercise and through the foods we eat and the sleep and the water we drink. And we get taught about increasing our energy by all of those means. And if we get sick, then we just get better and we go back to living the way we were living before. But in my case, I had a birth defect that didn't show up until I was 19. And it was the slipping of the vertebrae. In my case, it was L4 and L5, and they called it spondylolisthesis. So I was told I had to have back surgery either now, this year at age 20, or age 25. And I said, well, I'm young. I can recover fast. Let's do it now. So I had back surgery. And after back surgery, I was in a brace for 6 months and then needed to go to physio for another 6 months. And then I would be on my way. I missed my second year of practical in my degree. I'm a phys ed major. And I have an honors thesis in energy work, but we'll get to that in a minute. So I was doing the physiotherapy, which was ultrasound and TENS and ice and all this traditional stuff. And you're talking about 40 years ago. This isn't new technology. There's no frequency stuff going on. There's no new technology. It's all old stuff. And every single time I went, I hurt and I hurt and I hurt. And I go, this is nuts. And then I also discovered that when I walked to school, I had a new pain, and it was at the top of it was in my back, but it was more on the right side on my hip at the top of my iliac crest. Those of you who know what that is, top of the hip bone. And I asked the physiotherapist why. How can I get rid of this? And they had no answer for me. And in fact, they said, well, we'll let you talk to the surgeon. Maybe he'll be able to have an explanation. So I did. And he said, well, they took the bone out of your right hip to fuse your spine, and that's why your right hip hurts. And I said, that's all well and good, but they took the bone out of my left hip. So why is my right hip hurting? And then he went and got my file and he looked, he says, oh, you're right. Well, we can do a discovery surgery and figure it out for you. And I just threw up my hands and I just like, oh my God, there's got to be a better way. Little did I know at age 20, that when you throw your hands up and you ask and you state that statement, that you get an answer from God or in the universe pretty quickly. So within that year, I got introduced to a naturopathic doctor who was doing muscle testing. And she would push on my arm, and then she'd introduce something to my energy field, and she'd push my arm again, and I couldn't hold it up. And it was like, oh my God, this is so fascinating. I was just blown away by all of this. And so I
So
said
she
to
was
her,
doing muscle testing on you?
she was
Okay.
doing muscle testing on me, and I was blown away. Like, wow. I'm a kinesthetic learner. I'm a touchy-feely kind of person. So of course it fascinated me. So I asked her how I could learn about this. And she said, well, my nurses are offering a Touch for Health class this weekend. Why don't you take it? Yep. So I signed up. I did level 1. And then I was just fascinated. It was so amazing to me. And let me see, how does this go? I remember taking anatomy and not doing very well in anatomy. And then I took Touch for Health, and I go, well, if I had done Touch for Health first, I would have passed anatomy with flying colors because there was some context to the anatomy classes. There was no context when you're in first year university.
So
Anyway,
you learned about the meridians in the Touch for Health class? Is this where
yes.
you're going? Okay. Because I'm going to bring you forward. But that is okay. So now I'm putting the pieces like, so where are the meridians coming?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the meridians came from the Touch for Health class. And the meridians, there's 14 meridians in Touch for Health, and those are the 14 that I know and that I teach. All of the meridians are attached and called by the organ. So you have a heart meridian, a spleen meridian, a small intestine meridian, a large intestine meridian. The central and governing meridians are your brain and your spine. Central and governing.
So
And
are the meridians separate than things that move through the lymph or through the circulatory system?
they affect each other.
Got
They
it. Okay.
affect each other. So meridians. So what I wanted to say in that all meridians have an associated muscle as well. So what happens in the meridian system in our bodies, if you picture your body as a house and you think about your vitality, and if you had 14 switches, 14 windows which represented light in your house, and you had a switch for all of those lights, if all the switches were on, all of them were on, your house would be brightly lit, right? Your body would be brightly lit. So your meridians have an energy flow. They are energy pathways in the body that the ancient Chinese called meridians, acupuncture meridian system. So we have energy pathways in the body, and we just call them meridians for simple name.
Got it.
So every meridian is associated with an organ or called by its organ, and every meridian has an associated muscle, et cetera, et cetera. Go back to the house analogy. So if every window, 14 of them in your house, and then one starts to go off, and another one starts to go off, and another one starts to go off, what happens to the brightness of the house? It starts to dim. The vitality starts to disappear. It's the same with your body. If your meridians start to shut down, and they don't ever shut down completely, but the energy flow can get blocked, so there's not as much energy in that meridian system, your vitality goes down, and your vitality goes down. If you've got a pattern of energy in your system that is consistent over time, that's when disease starts to show up in your physical body. If you can keep your vitality, the energy in your body up and flowing and balanced, then your physical well-being will rise to meet it, and will be comfortable, will be disease-free. It will have ease and flow, and you'll be healthy. So,
well, it's interesting that you said that. You kind of touched on something, and I'm in the middle of a really interesting project. So I've been studying a lot of Hippocrates, and Hippocrates, one of the quotes that stuck, and it kind of is what you just said. You said over time, over time, over time. But the Hippocrates quote that comes to mind with that is illness does not come upon us out of the blue. They are developed from small daily sins against nature. When enough sins have accumulated, illness will suddenly appear. And that was Hippocrates many, many, many moons ago. Okay. Like 450
Yeah.
AD type of things out of Greece wrote that. So it just reminds me of what you said when you're just, when you get little knocks on the door, pay attention.
And I think that's the challenge for us in 2023, actually, in this new millennium, I would say. The challenge is to stay present. The challenge is to stay conscious enough to know when your thoughts have gotten away from you, and when your behaviors are not the best for your physical and mental well-being. And that's kind of the journey that I'm on right now, is the being present and conscious, and
Yes.
not dismissing it, like pay attention to it and do something about it.
That's what
And
the second card deck does, right? That's a pay attention deck, second
yeah,
helpings.
yeah. Well, and I think that I also wanted to say that you and Joanna have graced the planet with another tool to help heal, period. That we have, we have the ancient Chinese with the Meridian system, and there's a way to balance them and a way to keep track of your energy systems. And there's a way to, we've been taught since children to eat right and play hard, or play, period. Get out, get fresh air, sunlight, water, etc. And I don't think that we were taught enough about the good foods and how they interact in our bodies, and how conscious it is, how conscious food is. And that consciousness of food can help balance our bodies, can help balance our meridians, can keep the energy flow. I would be interested to have some time with you, Lainey, to go through either decks, one or the other, and look at the relationship with the meridians, because
Yes.
I'm sure there's an association there. Absolutely.
Well, let's explore that, because I think that would be a class, and you guys tell me who are here watching if that would be a class of interest to you. Food healing oracle deck in the meridian systems, because I would love to explore that further, because
That'd be cool.
we do take food on so many levels and pair them up. Why not pair them up with the meridians? To me, I think that's a brilliant idea.
Right. And
Yes,
Tamara,
I'm in.
yeah, woohoo, yay. So Tamara had said, yes, 12 pathways associated with different organs. Yes. And the two other meridians are the central and the governing. One's the brain, one's the spine. So although they're not, well, I guess the brain is an organ, but they're extremely important to our human survival. Both the brain and the spine. So there's 14 meridians that I teach from a perspective of balance. And it's interesting because when you start doing a meridian balance, you always start with switching on your central and switching on your governing meridian. And in the energy self-care, the energy boost self-care course that I created a few years ago, we spend a lot of time on those. We do
Yeah.
the power on your brain,
Yeah.
right? We do this.
Yes.
We do this.
I'm a graduate.
We actually do wake up your central meridian, which is also a zip up from Touch for Health. And then there's circuit breaker reset. And that came about as an expansion, an inspiration from Touch for Health. It's not taught there, but there's spinal reflexes in your spine between the vertebrae. There's a space. And if you actually rub up and down your spine, you'll get the spinal reflex for both sides of your body. So if both sides of the body are switched off, then you do the spinal reflex and it switches them both on. So I go, well, why don't we just do the circuit breaker reset? Like reset your whole body, both sides, and we'll call
Like
it
going to the electrical box and you're like moving them all at once versus just one at a time.
Exactly. So it's amazing how much more flexible people are when you do the circuit breaker reset.
All right, so let's bring it. Let's bring a little bit more current, because it's a lot to take in, but I want people to know about your class. So what's happening on February 13th? Because it's a combination of all your amazingness I'm going to be there. I've taken it. I'm doing it again. Highly recommend it. You know, it's like seeing a movie. You love it the first time, and then you want to go back and then like watch the details. That's what I'm doing. I'm taking it again. But why don't
Before
we talk about what it is? But go ahead.
Before we do that, I just wanted to wrap that up with the website. The website's associated with both the Meridian Magic Play Shop and the first 5 energy boost self-care techniques, which includes the circuit breaker reset and power on your brain. I just wanted to let people know that. So the website is energyselfcare.co. And so now Meridian Magic Play Shop.
Sure. So here, let me go ahead. I'll put that in while you're talking.
So the Meridian Magic Play Shop is during the day on Monday, February the 13th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And the meridians are magical because when you balance them, you reduce pain. When you balance them, you increase vitality. When you balance them, your energy shifts in magical ways. And so what I teach in the class is how to measure something first, and then we do a process, and then we measure again. One of the classes that I did, both Lainey and another woman came in with pain. And yeah, do you remember that? Your foot?
Yeah, plantar fasciitis. It was really bad at that time.
Yeah. And and tell them what happened after. I mean, it didn't go away 100%, but what happened?
No, I felt 98%. I mean, it felt like you did, you know, I mean, you did everything that you do so well, and you were able to teach it. And I walked away, you know, virtually pain free and for a good amount of time. So there was a significant, I don't know, it was a reset, but it was definitely a switched on because I was feeling really, really good.
Right, exactly. So the one woman came in and she said, I almost didn't come to the class because my back was hurting so bad. I couldn't bend over and touch my toes. I didn't know if I was going to be able to sit through the 2 hours online. And afterwards, she gave me a testimonial because not only did her back pain like disappear, she was absolutely stunned that that did happen with her and it didn't come back.
Yeah, it was really quick. So
Yeah.
I'm really anxious to see that. And the whole point, which I honor you so much for, is that you don't come from like, you have to take it from me. Your platform, and this is my perspective in taking your classes, is that this is for you to have self care. Do it at home. I'm giving you the information. You become self empowered. It's not about you have to take it from me and I'm the only one who can heal you. You teach individual healing so everyone can have their own tool set when they wake up. I think Tamara said something. Oh, Tamara, I can't wait for Heather's class. Tamara's in. She says, what? I follow my meridians every morning. So be able to have your own protocol and your own ceremony. You know, I've been doing yoga almost daily now with Patty here on the island, and I'm seeing tremendous differences. But when you get your own way of your own system in the morning, and that's what you teach, and that's why I want everyone to know what you do and why and how and all that good stuff.
Yeah. Well, and meridians are, for me, well, meridians are like the foundation for all of the work that energy workers do. They're all accessing the same meridians. Um, I think there's different energy systems, but the meridians are the basic, ground level basic. And if you learn how to balance them, you will be masterful at managing your energy, your pain, your like just your daily world.
Heather, you should hear what Tamara needed to tell you. You are one of the best teachers ever, and I've been to many classes. Well, I agree with that. And,
Thank you, Sarah.
for those of us who may not have full mobility, right? There are people who may be in wheelchairs who have to sit down or may not have the full mobility. Will this work for them? And will they be able to do some of what you're going to be teaching?
Yes, the good news is yes. I have to say I've been doing this for 40 years. I've learned, like, I learned this almost 40 years ago. And what I have discovered in the last 40 years is that intention is really important, visualization is really important. Even if you know where it starts and where it ends and you can visualize it with a color, it's still magical.
Wow.
It's still magical. And I didn't know that 40 years ago, but I know
So
it now.
So let's just recap that, because I want to maybe see if we can get a couple of readings in. If not, we'll see. But for those of you who would like to do this, it's for 2 hours on Monday from so it's early where it's early if you're on the East Coast or Midwest, but here not too early, 8 o'clock, but it's 11 to 1 on Monday, February 13th, and it's on Zoom.
Eastern Standard Time, 11 to 1 Eastern Standard Time. So the West Coast is definitely going to be early.
It's worth it though. And you haven't done it in a while, and this would be a great time to get involved and be part of it. It's just great group energy. And Heather says, do you use the Food Healing Oracle deck with Meridians? Have you been? And here we just talked about, I don't know if you're just coming on, but that's exactly what we're going to be doing, is working on a course for that. I think that's so important. But you've been a Food Healing Oracle deck certified reader for a long time. And maybe just share how you use the Food Healing Oracle deck and Meridians in your own self-care.
Well, I haven't figured that out yet, Lainey. That's why I wanted to explore it
I
with
know,
you.
but I don't know. I was trying to address that question,
Okay,
but
so
how do you use the Food Healing Oracle deck with all your techniques or anything? Or why do you even use the darn deck? Just kidding.
well, there's two reasons. Number one is if you're having a bad day, somebody's talked to you the wrong way, or you're interpreting something the wrong way, or you're just feeling bad in your body. I take the deck and I pull 3 cards and I say, okay, can I make a smoothie with this? The other thing is, you have to know I'm a master self-tester. I do energy self-testing, and I do that with body sway, and I do that with hand testing. So you'll get a taste of that during the Meridian Magic Play Shop as well. But I just test. I pull the cards because I intuit them. I pull. Can I make a smoothie with them? Do I need to read the words with them? So one or the other will show up, or do I need to do both? So the deck will either be telling me messages in words, or they'll be telling me messages like, you need to eat these foods. I really believe that there are an abundance of foods in this world that are biogenic, which is giving us life force energy. But there's lots of foods that are bioacidic for us. We're all different. And even the ones that are supposed to be good for us might not be good for us in that moment. And that's why the self-energy testing is so important in my life, is because I test the foods.
1,000%. Plus, what came to mind intuitively as you were just talking to now is that people need to understand how to get foods that are bioavailable for the body, and understand, and I have a feeling it will come up when we talk more about your course, or this course that we'll create, if our body is absorbing the nutrients as in those foods, if our body is receiving the bioavailability of the bionutrients. It just occurred to me that those are the things that should be tested, because you could be eating. In fact, you could be drinking, and your body's still dehydrating. The cells aren't getting the H2O, but you're drinking water all day. Why is that? Why do some people still need vitamin D and they live in Florida and they get sun all day? There are some disconnects, and I would love, as a food scientist, to work with you to explore that for our community. No question.
And just so the listeners know, that when I did my honors thesis, I did the thesis on doing an energy balance and how it affects muscles. Touch for Health energy balance and how it affects muscles. So I started off with the hypothesis that an energy balance strengthens muscles. Well, the data didn't show me that it strengthens muscles 100%. It actually balanced opposing muscles. So one got strong and one got weak. So the significance in balancing the meridians is that they balance opposing muscles. And when they balance opposing muscles, it has huge consequences for joints, because joints rely on balanced opposing muscles. And healthy joints means better mobility, more flexibility, and on and on and on.
So we have not a whole lot of time because things go fast, but just out of curiosity, and we didn't really talk about this before, but if we pulled cards right now for people who may want them, let me just tell you before you say you want a card, let me tell you what I'm going to pose the question. Do you think without having to give full readings, because we're not going to have the time for that with the amount of people here. But if we can say what your meridians want to tell you, would that be appropriate that you can use the deck? Or a question that can pose meridian related that the cards can answer for them? Would any of that work?
What are the meridians trying to? I don't know if well, you know what? I've never asked the question, so it would be interesting to say, what do our meridians want to tell us? It's, are you balanced or not? Right? But
Yeah, but when we go out of balance, we have to look at what's causing that imbalance. Is it always physical, or can it be related to emotional, mental, or spiritual?
It's all of them, Lainey. If
Right.
meridians go out of balance, it could be
So,
caused any of them. Absolutely.
so then if we pull a card for each person that says, what do your meridians want you to know for to stay balanced? Maybe there's a message there that could be explored. And if they go and take your class, maybe when they get to that meridian, they can do the deeper work.
Yes, possible. I was just going to go to the time of day. The meridian that's actually active, most active right now, is I actually can't remember at the moment. I think it's circulation sex. I think it's circulation, the reproductive one. So if you wanted to actually do time of day and say what does this meridian need?
Oh, I like that too.
Right?
Yeah.
But I just want to just double check the time of day. Just a sec.
Do, 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 do.
I have it right here. Look at that. It is 20 to 8 Eastern Standard Time, which means it's before 9 o'clock, which means we're in circulation sex meridian time. Look at that. My memory was good.
Circulation sex. Say that again. I got a little lost on the sex part. Say that again.
It's also called pericardium.
Okay.
So it's called pericardium meridian or circulation sex meridian. It's the right reproductive organ meridian.
Okay, so why is that important right now at 20 to 8?
Because it's in its peak performance time. It'll have over energy in this time. And the next meridian comes into play at 9 o'clock. So our meridian, our circadian rhythm and our meridians go with energy with the time of day. So each meridian at each time of day, 2-hour slots, each time of day has more energy in it than the rest of them.
So if we pulled a card right now for this particular meridian, circulation sex, whatever, what in that message for them, because I want to be very intentional, would this help them do some work to get that circulatory moving?
Balanced.
Balance.
You have it balanced.
Okay, so I think that's a fair question to ask the cards.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Triple warmer is my favorite. Denise is saying, would love to have a reading on what my meridian. So we're going to do a reading. We're going to start with Tina and Denise, and then Tamara, she wants one, on okay, well, I want you to pose it because I don't want to mess it up. Not that I'm going to mess it up, but I want to be able to pose it, but you're the Meridian Magic Queen. Let's pose the question. The cards that we're going to pull, and I have my first deck here. I don't know what deck you have, but if we pull a card, I'm not going to go into a whole reading. We're just going to pull the card and see what shows up. This will help your circulation sex meridian right now, because right now is right now. Right. It's happening.
Right. And then Denise has requested that we pull a card for all of them. It would be really interesting because I'm thinking, when we talk about balanced meridians, balanced system, we could actually pull cards for how do we get our meridians back into balance now.
Well, that was the original request, which was, can we pull a card that they would need to do that just needs to give them a message about their meridians? And if they want for balance.
For balance, yes, for balanced meridians. What do they need right now to balance the meridians? That's the question.
Okay, so let's do that. What is the card that we're going to pull? And we're not going to do a whole reading. We're just going to kind of boom, 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 because we're running out of time. That card is going to absolutely have you look at intuitively what you need to know about the meridians for balancing. And if you want to dive deeper into this, come take the class on Monday, if you can, the 13th, and you're going to have a special discount code to do so.
Yes, the code is MMP10.
MMP10,
which is 10% off.
10% off Meridian class. Okay, there's that. All right. Well, I'm just gonna dive right into this. And do you feel up for pulling a card? You want?
Sure.
And if not, you don't have to.
Oh, well, I'll let you do it. You do it.
Okay. Well, here maybe you might have some insight. I'll pull the cards. I'm gonna start with Tina, and then we'll go to Denise, then Tamara, and then Trish, and then Janelle, and whoever else. I'll scroll down.
Now, Tina, can we get Tina, did you want one to balance the circulation sex, or is the one with balance all your meridians good enough? Because I wasn't sure. It says this is exactly what I'm dealing with right now. So I just wanted to get clarification on what she was looking for specifically.
Okay, so Tina, why don't you answer that question in the chat box? Do you want to know about the specific meridian that is right now circulatory sex? Okay. Yeah. Or overall balanced message for your meridians. And you let us know. And while we're waiting, yes, please. I'm in a lot of medical issues right now that are scary for me. Okay. So, well, yes, please. Is that all of them or the one that's specific to right now? I'm still not clear. Are you, Heather?
Yeah, we're gonna do the one. How do we balance our meridians now? What card do we need to balance our meridians overall? And then it sounds like Tina wants one specific for her circulation sex meridian.
All right. Well, this is what I'm doing right now for her specific one. I have got the large cards, is celery and vitality. Okay. So the way I would see that, and this is about having balance, I'm actually feeling the sense of actually getting, I'm sorry, is to actually do some celery juice, because that is a very good balancer for the body, blood pressure, calming, huge mover of energy. I'm actually feeling that. I would tune into that again. Circulatory sex. Okay, good. So tune into that. Look at circulatory and you see the Fibonacci circulating right there as a pump.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what she needed. Thank you.
It's amazing. I do this all day, every day at these shows, and every day someone comes up to me with their dis-ease or challenge. What food do they need? Boom, boom, boom. Always just right there. It's somewhat astonishing. I'll never get used to it. And that's great. Yeah. Denise is next. And I hope that helped you, Tina. And then we can talk offline, or you can maybe follow up with Heather. Denise, this is for you. What message do you need to know about balancing your overall meridians? Is that fair enough to say that's the right question?
Does she want the rest of it to prepare for her daughter's wedding?
For me, how to stay in meridian balance as we prepare for our daughter's wedding on the 5th. Look what card she got.
Cucumbers. Eat lots of cucumbers.
You got the balance card, but yeah, this is like when you have a lot of stuff going on, stay in balance, stay in neutrality, back off, stay a conscious observer. And I'd be putting some cucumbers in your water, or there's a vitality oil that's cucumber, but I'd be going there.
Yeah. And learn how to do the meridian massage, which is the balancing all the meridians. We'll do that in the class. We actually do that in the class.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. Well, this is moving. We're trucking. We got 2 down. We got to go quick because let's see. We got Tamara. I know Tamara, even though I don't see her saying I want one.
Tony said card, please.
Okay. So Tamara, I just want to make sure you want one. But let's go in order so I won't get lost. We'll do Trish, then Janelle, and then Tony. Unless Tony was up here earlier, but I want to just make sure. Okay, Trish, this is for you. Say the question again each time, so in case people are just coming on, what it was, Heather.
How do we balance our meridians now?
What's the message from the Food Healing Oracle deck for balancing meridians?
Yes, what's the message?
Trish gets
Meditation.
meditation.
Awesome.
So what would you suggest for her? Meditating on that meridian, or like what would you recommend? Because that's what her,
What was
message.
figs? There was figs, right?
Mm-hmm.
I would eat them.
Okay.
I would eat them because our meridians respond really well to the foods we eat.
Yes. Well, what's interesting is I don't know. If you're here, Dr. Susan Chamberlain, if you're here, let us know. But she was giving me some great insight today on the importance of figs. And so now I'm going to be incorporating figs a lot more. So that is meditating on figs, taking that in, and then learning to come into balance. And if you want to learn more, you can get in touch with Coach Heather Phillips about the Meridian Magic. All right.
Yeah. What I saw is that when she eats figs, her meridians will come into balance. That's how I read it.
Okay. Perfect. All right, Janelle, this is for you, sweetheart. What does Janelle need for her balanced meridians? I got apples for abundance.
Awesome.
Yeah, so I actually went right into there's two things that came up. Well, procyanidin B2 is a fancy name of an ingredient, but I actually got the quercetin might be good for her. So I'd be looking up quercetin and seeing if that has a hit for you. But apples, apples do a million things. I remember my daughter had to do a report on apples, and she was overwhelmed. There was like 400 things that the apples do. I mean, It was
Wow.
like an apple a day keeps the doctor away. It was like she was overwhelmed. She had no idea there was so much nutrition in apples.
Very good. Very good. Eat
Okay,
the apple.
Tony. Huh?
I said, eat the apples. They'll balance your meridians.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I was putting these to the side. I shouldn't be doing that in case we have a repeat. All right, Miss Tony, lovely Tony. This is for you. Say the question again.
What food or what message does the Food Healing Oracle deck have to balance your meridians? In order to balance your meridians.
She got pears for grace. So my hit on that is not so much the food, but the divine feminine there is to sit back and kind of receive more and create more balance there. Less doing, more being. And that brings you into balance, which brings your body into balance.
And each meridian has a yin or a yang orientation.
Really?
So we have yin meridians and we have yang meridians, male and female, or yin is female and yang is male.
This is really cool. We're on to something here.
We are.
Yeah, maybe we're kind of creating the program as we go through it right there. All right, Miss Tamara, you're up. This is for you.
Oh, and yes, Susan's here.
Susan was talking about the figs today. I forgot you said something important about you took a class or something. She said how vital figs were. And I said, well, maybe that's why Buddha was meditating under the fig tree. Like he knew better. All right. So let me just move this up. So this is for Tamara. Now, this is going to be a very interesting one. I kind of peeked at it. And the question is, what is the energy around what the message or the food? And she got cilantro, which is our confusion card. I actually think I know the answer. Just kidding. What I do know is I went, although you could be like, wow, I'm confused about the confusion cards. I actually went to the value of the fact, and we were just talking about this today, how cilantro is a chelator and how it clears out the metals and clears out the bad stuff. And so actually consuming cilantro might be a very benefit to you for balanced meridians if there were some things, if you've been exposed to metals.
Yeah. Yep. Perfect.
Yeah.
Wow.
Right there. Right there. Susan, we did everybody. Susan, do you want a card pulled for balancing your meridians? I dislike cilantro, but I'll try. How can we? I was thinking, if you don't like the taste of cilantro, I'd get with Denise Flood because she has a Vitality cilantro oil, a Young Living oil, and maybe there's something that could be incorporated somehow. But it definitely is. There's lots of studies with autism about chelation therapy, and cilantro is kind of up there in terms of removing those things, mercury, etc. If you have dental fillings that are still old that haven't been replaced, that's always something to take notice of if you have a lot of metal toxicity in your body. All right.
I would also suggest that she go to the grocery store and gather it up and smell it.
Yeah. Or make a smoothie and hide it in there with other things.
Something, yeah. Something
Get
like
it in there. Get
Yeah.
it in there.
Sorry. And Susan says, yes, please. And thank you.
Yes. Okay. You got it. So Susan, you'll be the last one. And the message was, I'm not sure how long you've been here, is what is your meridians need to stay balanced? What food or message from the Food Healing Oracle deck? There are some very interesting courses in due time that we'll be teaching on the medical side with Dr. Susan. Can't wait to share those with you. Okay. Pumpkin seeds. Now, pumpkin seeds comes up a lot, and we were just discussing. Is it the pumpkin seeds, or is it doing things in moderation for balanced meridians?
I would say both, but definitely when you're talking about balancing meridians, it's a moderation. It's a moderation behavior for sure.
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah. So when you say that, it means not finding your balance, right? Mm-hmm. Not doing too much, not doing too little, finding your sweet spot.
And pumpkins will help you do that.
Yeah, they do.
Pumpkin seeds.
Yeah, I've been putting them. I've been like the granola girl lately and making all sorts of different flavored granolas, and pumpkin seeds go into some of my creations.
Did we miss Janelle, or did we do one for Janelle, or did she not want one?
Janelle, remind us if we gave you one. I'm pretty sure we did, but if we didn't, let us know. And if we did, which one was it? I'm pretty sure we did Janelle's. So much energy running through here, right? You got me, girl. Okay, cool. And she said, I'm in, so maybe she'll be taking your class. Okay, so let's see. A couple other announcements. If you are interested, Apple's Abundance, right? Yeah, we have a couple things very exciting for a lot of you. This Friday is our first level 2 certification, filled to the rim. We're so excited. We're on to something quite extraordinary. You guys are in for a treat. Joanna and I worked really hard to create this experience for you. And then for those of you who want to experience the first level, and I see a lot of first level readers here, we do have a couple spots for our March 3rd and 4th certification. Please join us. In April is our second level 2. It is filled. Wow. So now I'm going to open up a level 2 in July. So if you end up taking level 1 and not ready, which you probably won't be, to take level 2 in April, we have level 1 in March, level 2 in July, and we will have more details on that. So subscribe if you can, please, to our YouTube channel. Help us out. Subscribe to our new Nourish Your Soul. We have amazing guests this month, but on that page, our Facebook page, will be the details. We have a lot of great certified readers who I'm going to be having on our weekly show, like Heather. Just the amount our community is just extraordinary. It's just a plethora of healers right here. And thank you for all your wisdom. I know you and I go back so long and so far, and I just love everything about you.
Thanks, Savante. I'm getting there. I know I'm gradually swinging over. Lainey Savante. That's how I know you. That's what I want. That's the comfort level at this time. But I tried Savante.
I know it gets easier, but most of the time, now these days I actually introduce myself as Savante, so it makes it a lot easier. They get it right away, but I'm fine with either. Thank you everyone for supporting this new version of our show, supporting Heather, supporting me, supporting the vision, the guides, Mother Nature, everyone who's come together to bring these 2 decks to life, and these classes that continuously unfold new wisdom, like this crystals class. And yes, people have asked if we're going to do another angels. We are. And we got a lot of classes in the pipeline, including with Dr. Cheryl Friedman. We'll be doing our Conquering Your Cravings in March. Go to the website, foodhealingdeck.com. All of our info's there. I'll be posting them also in the Nourish Your Soul Show Facebook page, as well as the Food Healing Deck. I think we have had it for tonight. Thank you for lending your energy to this amazing, and I hope to see everybody there on February 13th. Again, it is energyselfcare.co, not com, .co, C-O, and you get 10% off if you take these amazing 2 hours. They get a work, they get a whole list of things. First, they get you live, then they get meridians, then they get techniques. You have a whole amazing gathering.
There's a mini course, and then there's a workbook that they can print off and have at the workshop, a play shop. But before we close, thank you for allowing me to be your guest tonight. I feel honored and privileged, and thank you for all of your wonderful audience for having me. Thank you.
Love everybody. It's a love fest. Mwah, mwah. May you have the most magical meridians ever. Thanks, everyone. Take care.